So weekly mortgage application volume drops 11% as rates spike and Texas power outages hurt demand. So higher mortgage interest rates and a winter weather disaster combined to weaken mortgage demand last week. Total mortgage application volume fell 11.4% compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association's seasonally adjusted index. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgages increased to 3.08 from 2.98. So they're now above 3, which we've been talking about this for, we've been expecting it for months. They got to go back above 3. Now they're above 3. Okay. So if you're having that conversation with your clients, you know, and they're kind of that, well, wait, I missed out when they were 2.25 and 2.5 and 2.75. Go historically and just tell them like 3% is still really, really awesome. And for refis, they'll be a little bit lower. And for A paper, which all the credit and the income and the down payments, they could still be a little bit lower. So it's still a really big positive. You know, if you go back to what, 20, 30 years ago, they were at 11 or 12%. And 1 year ago, that rate was 65 basis points higher. So they were in the high 3s last year. And then, so this is a quote from, that's my puppy. If you guys hear scratching in the background, that's my puppy.
Here's a quote from my puppy.
Here's a quote from my puppy.
Wait,
yeah, and he wants to come inside. Eventually, my daughters are going to get up and let him back in. There he goes. There we go. All right.
There we go.
And if you see a giant Doberman walk by, yeah, he's 8 months old.
Wow, seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
He's giant. Oh, hey, daughters, can you get him water, please? Sorry. All right, I apologize. Work from home. This is a quote from Joel Kahn. He's an MBA economist. Mortgage rates have increased in 6 of the last 8 weeks, with the benchmark 30-year fixed rate last week climbing above 3% to its highest level since September 2020. He goes on to say, as a result of these higher rates, overall refinance activity fell to its lowest level since December, so only a couple months ago. Applications to refinance a home loan fell 11% for the week, but were still 50% higher year over year. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, really good.
And then you know how they always say, like, the first part of the story usually says the mortgage application volume fell 11.4%, and then they immediately give a year ago. This article didn't this time from CNBC. It didn't, but they do mention it a little bit later. So it says it right here. The annual comparison has been shrinking as rates rise, and that's in regards to refis. Mortgage applications to purchase home fell about 12% for the week, but here it is. We're 7% higher than a year ago. They buried this way, like 8 paragraphs down. I had to go find it.
That's so weird. So for those of you who are just joining our show or have never watched our show, we don't get into politics very often, but one of the things we do watch are the headlines and the changing headlines. And it has been obvious that there has been a changing of the guard, because previous to this, we would say that, mortgage applications decrease 6%. Is this the end or whatever? And then we get into the article and it's like 70% over last year. It's like, come on.
Well,
like,
and by the way,
you're saying it decreased 6% from the week before, but it's also Christmas.
Right.
So we have seen a bit of a political slant, whether you love Trump or hate Trump or love Biden or hate Biden. It doesn't really matter to us. It's just important that you're aware of how these articles are written so that you can share with your clients what's really going on. I was at the gym the other day and someone said, hey, I was watching the news and they were talking about the market and how it's crazy good and all this stuff. I'm like, well, what did you watch? And the stuff she was sharing with me was all these top line headlines that we cover, and then having to get into some details about which she's not going to read the details. They're just going to kind of go through the headlines and think they know it. And that's why we have the show.
That's why we get past the headlines.
Get past the headlines so that you know exactly what's happening. But yeah, 50% is a good number. I remember when they were saying that it was just barely good at 70%, but now, 50% is great. They said it was terrible when it's just 20% over last year. But
and applications to purchase are 7% higher than a year ago, with no inventory and with rates rising and with the disaster that just happened.
Right.
So, and by the way, Ray, totally but when is the last time we had a story that said home price gains decrease? When is the last time we heard that?
Oh, that has been a long time.
Right? We haven't seen one of those stories in
probably a year.
No. Roughly 3 months.
You think? Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Because it was the week over week versus
every week seemed like there was home price gains slow or decrease.
But home prices were still gaining. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now they're just gaining. They're not decreasing. They're just gaining. It's just interesting. Anyway, sorry guys.
Okay, so let's get into the next article and then we could take some Clubhouse. Did you have something else on that?
No, the final thing is that Joe Kahn said that the higher mortgage rates are definitely a factor, but the severe winter weather across the South last week, and especially the power outage across Texas, played a role. That state specifically saw more than a 40% drop in purchase and refinance applications last week. So we hope everyone there, not just realtors, but we hope everyone there is safe and doing okay.
Well, we couldn't go anywhere last week. It got to 0 degrees. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me like sledding around our neighborhood.
Which was awesome.
It was such a blast. I was testing all kinds of camera gear. I had so much fun. We even had an adult night where all the kids, we put the kids to bed, and then our entire street like went out into the street and we sled at night. It was so much fun. So
when's the last time you had snow like that?
It was like 20, 30 years ago.
That's awesome.
It's almost like there's 20 or 30 year cycles. But no, the last time we got that much snow specifically, I was like 5 or 6 years old. So it was literally 30 something years ago.
And you were acting like a 5 or 6 year old. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. So we didn't show any homes last week, and I don't think anything sold last week. So it was a very different environment for us too. And we didn't have all the power outages and stuff that Texas had. We just couldn't go anywhere. So I think there was probably an impact from states that were like that too. All right, so let's see. Adam Johnson said he purchased in 2008, and his APR was 8.5%, which is about the historic average.
Yeah, 7.5% is historic, right?
Yeah. Kathy Gunderman, she said it was 8 degrees at my house last week with snow, then 80 degrees yesterday. And she said my yard is dead.
My yard is dead.
So it was 0 degrees in Arkansas last week, and yesterday 73. Okay. So that is wild.